Every single morning. I told myself today was going to be different, but it never was. I just kept lying there, hitting snooze, waiting for motivation that never showed up. I used to scroll fitness pages for hours, staring at people who had it all figured out. It felt like they were living in a completely different world than me. I just felt stuck. I kept eating like food was gonna fix whatever was broken inside me, every single day. Every time I felt stressed, every time I felt lonely, I just ate, and then felt worse. I stood up from my desk one afternoon and my back gave out. Bro, I am out of shape. I walked past the bathroom mirror one night and stopped. I didn't recognize myself anymore. It wasn't dramatic. It was just quiet and sad. I had been avoiding mirrors for months. I caught myself in the mirror and thought, yeah, this is rock bottom right here. So I kept distracting myself, TV, phone, food, anything to avoid how I actually felt. Deep down, I knew the truth. I knew I was wasting my life. I just didn't want to face it. I kept telling myself I'd start tomorrow. But tomorrow kept becoming today. Nothing changed. I woke up on the couch surrounded by chip bags. Why does every part of me hurt right now? I stepped on the scale and froze. No way. There is no way that number is right. I shook the scale, moved it, tried again. Same number every time. Maybe the batteries are dying. I ended up sitting on the bathroom floor. I had no idea how I let myself get this bad. I went back to the mirror and really looked. My eyes were tired, and I just thought, I hated what I saw. I slammed both hands on the sink, stared at myself, and said out loud, all right, enough. I pointed at my reflection and said, you either change right now, or stay miserable forever. I grabbed my phone and searched everything. Beginner workouts, what to eat, where to start. I attempted my first push-up, arms shaking immediately, sweating in 10 seconds. Why is this so hard? I collapsed face first onto the carpet. One arm gave a weak thumbs up. I think I just died. I tried jumping jacks. Arms went one way, legs went another. I tripped and hit the wall. I checked the timer, 2 minutes 13 seconds. I was completely destroyed. That was only 2 minutes. But when I sat down and drank water, honestly, I actually felt kinda good. Something had shifted. I stood in front of the mirror afterward and flexed. Nothing had changed, but I nodded proudly anyway. Yeah, basically an athlete now. Day 1 complete. Totally transformed, obviously. Then I opened the fridge. Chips, soda, pizza. Oh, right. Food is a whole thing I have to deal with too. I found one piece of broccoli in the back of the fridge, held it up like an ancient artifact. I went to the grocery store with actual intention, stood in the produce aisle completely overwhelmed. I stared at a nutrition label for 3 minutes. What even is a macronutrient? And nobody explains this. I lined up all the healthy food on the counter like I'd returned from a mission. Healthy era started. I tried cooking chicken for the first time, followed every step. Kitchen filled with smoke. Why is it burned? I stared at my first healthy meal. Burnt chicken, plain broccoli. Healthy people eat this voluntarily. That night my stomach was growling. I opened a food delivery app, saw a cheeseburger. Just one wouldn't hurt. I threw the phone across the bed and wrapped in every blanket. We are not ordering fries tonight. Next morning I decided to go outside, just to walk. Maybe I could at least start with that. A jogger ran past me effortlessly, and I thought, how are people casually running at 7 a.m. like that? I noticed the sunrise reflecting off a pond nearby, and for the first time in a while, I felt hopeful. I sat on a bench and tied my shoes properly. Today I'm not overthinking it. I'm just going. I jogged badly, arms wrong, breathing off, but I kept moving. It ain't pretty, but I'm moving. I stopped completely gassed with hands on my knees. I can rest later, just not right now. Keep going. After stretching, I ate a banana while the sun came up. Something felt clean. This feels like progress. By week 2, it still wasn't easy, but it was starting to feel like a routine I could hold on to. I flipped eggs without breaking the yolk and quietly fist-pumped. I finally learned not to burn everything. I walked past the hallway mirror and stopped, backed up slowly. Something looks different. Wait, hold on. I held an old photo next to my reflection and smiled. It was small, but it was real. I stood outside the gym holding my bag, staring through the glass. Maybe home workouts were enough. But I walked in anyway, and immediately felt like every single person in there was staring at me. I set the treadmill speed too high and grabbed the rails in full panic. Why is it getting faster? I fell off, sat on the floor, looked around expecting everyone to laugh. Nobody was even looking. Wait, nobody actually cares at all. They never did. They're all just focused on themselves. I grabbed the lightest dumbbells and curled in the mirror, and thought, okay, maybe I can do this. I walked out of the gym sweaty and smiling. For the first time in years, I felt proud of myself. Around week 5, something changed. It stopped feeling like punishment. It started feeling like self-respect. I jogged past the same sidewalk where I used to struggle just to walk. A few weeks ago, I could barely make it. I walked into the gym without hesitating. No pause, no nervous scan. I just walked straight in. I stopped chasing perfect. I just kept showing up, imperfectly, consistently. That was enough. Mid-workout, I caught my reflection and almost didn't recognize myself. That feeling was incredible. I sat in the locker room just breathing. This wasn't the defeated tired. This was the tired I dreamed about. I opened the junk food cabinet, looked at it, and just closed it. No struggle. I didn't want it anymore. I checked my weight tracking app and froze. The line was going down. No way. It's actually working. I stood at the same mirror where I had my breakdown. Same spot. And this time, I just smiled. I thought losing weight would change my body, but it really changed my whole life. I started showing up for myself every single day, at the gym, in how I ate, in how I talked to myself. The hardest part wasn't exercise. It was believing I actually deserved to change, that I was worth it. There was no single big moment, just hundreds of tiny, quiet choices nobody ever saw me make. I finally became someone I was proud to take care of, proud of who I was choosing to be every morning. I saw a guy outside the gym looking exactly how I used to look, frozen, terrified. I recognized that immediately. And I held the door open and said, "Trust me, nobody in there cares where you're starting from. Just walk in." I ran through the park and it felt effortless. I didn't become perfect, just better than yesterday. You don't need to have it figured out before you begin. You just need to start, one small step. The version of you that you keep dreaming about is waiting on the other side of consistency. I used to hate that version of me, but honestly, he was just doing the best he could. The difference wasn't motivation. It wasn't a perfect plan. It was just showing up when I didn't feel like it. Every step counted. The burned chicken, the failed push-ups, the 2-minute workout. All of it built something real. Confidence didn't come from looking different. It came from keeping the promises I made to myself. People said I seemed happier. Not more muscular, just happier. They noticed I had come back to life. If you're struggling right now, please don't give up on yourself yet. One small step can change everything. Just start.